and welcome back to the Bitch in My Brain podcast. My name is Josie. I am very happy to be back with you this week. Unfortunately, I was absolutely taken out by this sickness that is going around, and I don't leave my house much. So getting sick to me is very foreign, but that's how the world works, and it's inevitable that we will get sick. So I'm taking it as a sign that the universe was like, hey, pay your dues this year. And so yeah, it was pretty brutal. I had just those classic symptoms of, fatigue. I had a sore throat. I swear there was so much mucus up in my body. I know that's gross to say, but I was some days I was fighting for my life with this damn mucus. So I'm on the other side of it, which feels very, very good. And last week I found myself, because I was so, when you're sick, it's nothing does it for you. So even putting on a movie in the background, nothing works. So I found myself scrolling my phone, even though I hated every minute of it. But I was in kind of this trying to be productive mindset, because being wiped out for a whole week is very foreign to me. I get a lot of anxiety, and I know this is from the past work environments as well as how I operated working in the past. I feel like I always need to be doing something, always need to be taking care of some aspect of the business. So really staying kind of static for the week was really hard for me. So when I was on social, it's okay, let's make the most of this. Let's try to have it be, in service of working somehow. So I decided to use my time on TikTok and Instagram to really do some research around the podcast and take a look at, what other people in the industry are doing, what other topics women are talking about. And although it was fun at first, I quickly realized that I wasn't really doing any research, let's say. It was more so I was comparing myself to all of these accounts or all of these people that I was trying to get inspiration from. So it really turned from this act of growing my business and this podcast to me feeling like I was up against everyone else in the industry. And it really put me in kind of a weird mindset. And, I'm a big Call Her Daddy fan. I absolutely love Alex Cooper. I think she is such a baddie, what she has built, while talking about things that are relevant to her. I know hers is a little bit more kind of sex-oriented, a little bit more pop culture-esque. And when I was looking at some of the stuff she's doing now as well as did in the past, I was really focused on the fact that I didn't have some of the things that she did. So something I've been struggling with on the podcast is my podcast is the quality of the video. For some reason, I cannot export the video for social to be clean and clear like it is on my computer. So, I'm comparing myself of, oh shit, I have, shitty camera equipment. That means I'm never going to be on her level, or her videos are edited so well. And there were just all of these aspects of her podcast that I was comparing against mine. And it was leaving this feeling of lack and not being good enough. And, the bitch in my brain starts chiming in of, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you're good enough to do this? This could be a total flop and nothing turns out. She's just, you guys know the bitch in your brain. Once she gets going, it's, You're going down that spiral. And so as she's kind of chiming in, it's having a huge impact on my inspiration for the podcast, because 90% of the time I am like, okay, let's get after it. I'm jazzed up to talk to you guys, all of that. But that 10% weighs heavy on me not feeling good enough, and ultimately me second guessing this podcast in general, even though it is so deep inside me and I know it's my purpose and I know it's my passion. But social media, I mean, it can plant some seeds that can really take us down a path that we don't want to go. And so I thought this week we could talk a little bit about how we compare ourselves on social media to others, and essentially a way to kind of bring awareness to those moments where you find yourself comparing. And I'm going to give you, a few questions that you can ask yourself in those times that will hopefully bring you back to the present moment, and you're able to see what's on social for what it really is. And I think a lot of the time we view social media as the standard way to live your life. We see these people posting these pictures of traveling across the world, or getting, married and having these insane weddings, or, they're out and about and doing all these fun things with their friends and capturing those moments, which all of those are great things. But when we are not doing those same things, traveling, all of that, it makes us feel kind of shit about ourselves. And we're immediately thinking, I'm not financially well off enough to travel the way they do. So, I'm less than, I'm not worthy of going on those trips. Or when you see, groups of friends out, you're saying, well, I must not be very fun, or they must not like me, or they don't align with my type of life. Like, it's just, we all go down that hole of questioning why we can't be that, why we can't do those things. And something that was absolutely instrumental in the way I now operate on social, we're clearly a work in progress, but really what has been a game changer for me is asking myself, what information am I missing when I compare myself? So one of the big ones is traveling, because who doesn't want to travel the world? I love traveling. So when I see people going all over the world, I am like, I want that. Why can't I have that? All of these things. And so when I'm in one of those thought processes, I ask myself, what information am I missing? And one huge piece of information that I was missing, specific to this one friend that I have, she travels all over the world, I swear, every other weekend. And, I felt a little bit of jealousy of that. But when I ask myself what's missing, I don't know the status of their financial situation. And that's a key part, because in this circumstance, I later found out that a lot of the time that they're traveling to these different places, they're flying on their parents' points. And there is no shame in that at all. If I had my parents' points to use, I would 100% do it. So that is a huge kind of crucial piece of information, because I'm sitting here saying, well, I'm not financially well off enough to do that. When in reality, they might only be paying, a couple $100 to go to Paris for the weekend. While if I were to do that, it might cost me thousands, because plane tickets are so fucking expensive. It's insane. But by having that information, I'm able to kind of bring it back into reality and say, okay, it's not that they have this endless supply of money that they can go travel the world with. There are aspects that are in benefit of them traveling. So really, it's that what information am I missing that can really take us out of that comparison mode? There's also times when I come across pictures and that person looks so happy and joyful, and I'm like, oh man, they must be living the best life ever. They must be so happy, all the time. And I'm basing this off of a photo that I see of them. And so I thought it would be kind of funny to look at my Instagram post and tell you guys the reality of a big one that you might not have factored in when you looked at it or when it came across your social or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. It was a sobriety post. And so in the post, I'm by the lake, I'm smiling, I'm excited. And everyone was like, Josie, you look so good. Like, this is so awesome, yada, yada, yada. Well, little does everyone know that Sam and I were in a big tiff about 10 minutes before that. So the smile on my face, yes, it is genuine in celebration, but that smile was not on my face, 10 minutes before that. So people might look at that photo and be like, oh, Josie, looks so good. I mean looks as in not like physical appearance, but just aura vibe. You guys get what I'm saying. But I was looking at that and I'm like, gosh, if some people knew the reality of that, it might shift their perspective on that photo as well as shift the way that they're feeling. So that is really an example of, yes, there's this static image that we're looking at and almost building a narrative around. We're building a story of how much better they have it or how much more they have than we do. And so we compare ourselves and our self-worth based off these imaginary narratives that we craft. And a lot of times they're about people that we don't even know. Like sometimes I'll be looking at a celebrity's profile and I'm like, wow, they have it all figured out. And that's just a story I'm telling myself. I'm kind of projecting that onto them. So the fact that we're putting our value and self-worth in this platform is a shame. And it's also, it's untrue. Like they say it all the time, we don't know what other people are going through. We also don't know what other people's lives look like. Even if we, discuss them with our friends or, I share some stuff on the podcast, you guys are getting an inside look. But there's aspects that in this very moment, I'm not willing to share. That is obviously going to change as I do more inner work and become more comfortable and, figure shit out a little bit more before I come yapping about it. But like I said, there's so much information that we're missing out on that will change the way we operate on social as well as the way we operate in our lives. Like, think of the freedom we would have to just live in our authenticity and not compare ourselves to other people and the narratives that we've crafted around them. So really, in times that I find myself doing this, so, we'll throw it back to the Alex Cooper at the beginning when I'm saying like, oh man, my quality's not as good as hers and like my lighting is nowhere near hers, all of that, I can ask myself, okay, what information am I missing or negating? So I can look at Alex Cooper and I can say, well, she just took a $175 million deal for SiriusXM. Before that, I think she signed a $60 million deal to Spotify for 3 years. So there is an influx of money that she can invest into her business into fantastic lighting, into, great quality cameras, as well as when she goes to upload on social. Like, she has a whole team that is behind her, managing her guests, all of those things that I'm saying I'm not good enough because I don't have that. She also has so many different aspects to her business that allow her to be at that level right now. And, I'm going to manifest this. Hopefully I can get to that level as well, where I'm like, hey, the best equipment in the land, we'll get an actual podcast studio. We can put lights in it. Although I love my meditation room and I love recording in here because just the vibes are good. But those pieces of information really change how I compare myself to her. And the way I kind of reframe is asking myself, is this comparison coming from a place of admiration or coming from a place of lack? So I can, instead of comparing myself to Alex Cooper, I can look at her and say, oh, I admire that aspect of her business. I admire that she does this, this certain way. And the aspects of her business that I admire, I can use that admiration to have a deeper understanding that I can do something like that. She is showing me that it is possible. And so I'm operating from a place of potential. I'm seeing someone do something that I want. And that is my motivator. That is showing me that it is possible to attain the things that she has and have a little bit more confidence in myself and what I'm bringing to the table as well. And it's important to flag when you're coming from a place of lack, when you're coming from a place of not feeling, good enough, or that you could never reach that sort of potential or success. And so it's really important to, in situations like this, when you find yourself comparing yourself to others, taking a breath, going internal and asking yourself, what information am I missing that can shift the way I'm viewing this situation or this photo or, whatever. And also identifying what's my intent. Is it coming from a place of admiration? Is it coming from a place of motivation? Or is it coming from a place of lack? So by being able to be really clear on those two things in the moment when you catch yourself, and trust me, it's not easy, especially as women. We've spent our entire lives comparing ourselves to one another or the social expectations we feel we have to live up to. So although it's challenging, really make the intention to bring awareness to it, because I promise you that it will totally change your experience on social media for the better. I mean, like I said earlier, the freedom to be our authentic self and love the version of ourselves that we're currently in is really going to serve us immediately and moving forward. So this week, I really invite you, while you're on social, because it's inevitable. I am one of those people that loves to say, I need a break from social, and I can't seem to follow through. Sometimes it can be my happy place. Sometimes it absolutely sucks. But to be more conscious on the app, to bring awareness to the way it's making me feel, is only in service of me feeling good about myself. So take time this week while you're on social to check in with yourself and catch yourself in moments of comparison and have a little fun with it. Because if you're too rigid and you almost shame yourself when you begin comparing yourself, that doesn't make the process fun. That doesn't make it motivating. So when you catch yourself, maybe giggle a little bit, go internal and then move on. The most important thing is just move on. Acknowledge it, bring awareness to it, and, keep scrolling on to the next one. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it resonated with you. It definitely resonated with me. It's a good reminder of what I want my life to look like and how I want to operate. So I hope that gave you a little bit of inspo as well. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this episode spoke to you, and I can't wait to continue to share so much more. If you're feeling called, please subscribe and leave a review so together we can reach even more women who deserve to live their best life. And you can follow me on social at The Bitch in My Brain as I share my journey and life in real time. I can't wait to see you bitches next week. Take care.